Everyone stayed in, a standing ovation for him, a standing ovation as well for Manchester City. Look, we've spoken briefly, and we'll talk a lot more about Erling Haaland, but I think from a Manchester City perspective, with the Premier League title race so close, with them playing Burnley here in the FA Cup on Saturday, so much still on the line this season, this feels like a performance that can re-energise this team again for the run-in, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. I think sneakily they've been getting a lot of very good results, though. There's a lot of confidence within that side, and they're having players coming back in, like a Phil Foden, back towards their best. So they have the strength and depth, as well as the players who are out there who can make a big difference. So, and obviously, any time I imagine you score 5 goals in a game, you're going to think you're invincible. So I guess that goes a long way for City.
Listen, you've got to put in a performance, you've got to do the hard work, you've got to graft and do the dirty work to get results like this before you then start playing, which they've done beautifully today. But at the same time, I still think Leipzig played into their hands a little bit. One of the best things, I think, what he would love to have for most teams is that, Pep, he'd love to have that teams come out and press them as individuals and not as a collective and not as a team. And I think that's what Leipzig done today, and they got absolutely punished. Yeah, definitely. I think they kind of looked at the second half of the first leg and thought, oh, if we match that performance with that intensity, we can get a result there. But that wasn't the case tonight. It was, like we have said, it was individual pressing. City obviously recognised there was a threat, nullified that threat with patience, build up, and then mixed it up as well. I think in the first half we've seen a couple of times when they went a bit more direct, and that beats anyone's press, and all of a sudden then the game opens up, and then when it opens up and you've got Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland in possession, you score goals.
I'm looking forward to Erling coming out and speaking to us. Can you just imagine the confidence that someone carries when they've scored 39 goals at this stage of their season? Well, even the number is ridiculous when you say it.
That's more than my career. I'm looking to see the bowl that he comes out of. I know he's going to ball cut and he's going to have a little bit of swagger, because what he's doing right now, he's got every single defender before a ball's even kicked on the ropes, thinking, wow, they're losing sleep the night before the game. They're looking at him in the tunnel thinking he's bigger than I actually imagined he'd be, and he's actually getting in the game. They're playing the ball direct today, the one that Aki played over the top, and they're going, he's actually faster than I thought he was. He's got rockets in his boots, and he knows where the goal is. This kid, for a defender, he's a nightmare proposition when they get it right on the day.
Oh yeah, his performance of him and Guardiola tonight reminded me of when I was in my career and I played against Louis Saha a few weeks before, came out on top and thought, okay, I'm all right. Fast forward 3 weeks and he kind of came into that game with a swagger that we was talking about and put me to the sword. And I think that's what we've seen tonight, someone that's recognised the ability of the opponent he's going to face and put him to the sword.
He's looked at that matchup almost like, because we highlighted Guardiola before, who's been very impressive and is courted by many teams. But I think Haaland's gone home after that game. It's true what Jolien said and said, I'm not having that again. We've got them, and he's been probably thought about him for a few days and said, this kid, I'm going to put him under it today. And he gave him an absolute roasting today and said to him, listen, you want to come to England, mate, this is what you're going to get every week. Well, he probably wouldn't, because Haaland's a one-off.
True.
You know what I mean?
Shall we have a look at the goal he scored from furthest out this evening? Okay. That was the penalty.
Yes.
Here it is. It's not about how it was awarded. It's not about the handball. It's about the fact that this is one of those 39 goals, and it sets him on the road this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for most Man City supporters, they're quite anxious when people step up to take penalties. They've seen quite a few missed, but so far he scored every single one that they've had. And again, you know, that's the one that gets the ball rolling today. If he doesn't score that, maybe it's a different energy in the staging, but then instead they're very much on the front foot, and seconds later another goal scored again.
I know that you want to ask him when he comes out which of the goals tonight was his favourite, and I think you're all in agreement, are you, that it was the second one?
Yeah, I think there's so many elements to this second goal. I think the press after scoring a penalty to put, 3 or 4 players under pressure, obviously then to get to the goalkeeper, to recognise the balls for sharing when he clears it, to head it down to Kevin De Bruyne, and then to react so fast. For me, this is a remarkable goal, again, for so many reasons.
And I think also the press that's what kids, all coaches will be clipping that up, I'm sure, and saying this is what you do. You just scored a goal, we ain't celebrating. But this part is the part where people saying that's probably a weakness in his game in terms of the approach play. Everything he done in this phase of play was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely magnificent. Like that press from kickoff. When you're receiving the ball and you're the team that's just conceded, you want a bit of time to sort of like gather yourself. But before you know it, City put you under pressure. It was specifically with him. And then lo and behold, when the ball drops, it drops to the man himself.
Here he is.
Well, there's the ball going in the back of the net, and here is the man arriving who put the ball in the back of the net on 5 separate occasions this evening. Okay. Erling Haaland. Huge congratulations. Well done. Look, you've had some amazing nights and days on a football pitch. Yeah. Where does this evening rank among them?
It's a big night. First of all, to play Champions League. I'm really proud to play Champions League, and I love this competition, as everybody know. and yeah, I don't. 5 goals to win 7-0 at home. I'm so happy.
And Erling, which one of those goals was actually your favourite then?
Should I be honest now? I'm a bit blurry in my head, so I don't remember the goals. But I just remember just shooting, don't thinking. To be honest.
Shall I tell you one that they thought was going to be the one you liked the most, which was the second one, because you just scored the first, and straight away you had that intent to get forwards. We can have a look at it now.
I was so tired as well after the celebrations.
Was that part of your game plan though, to press this team early on?
Yeah, we worked on the pressing obviously yesterday, and especially at home or in every game we have to put pressure. We have to run. We have to just put them under pressure because we are so good winning the ball, going forward with Kevin when he can get the ball in front of him towards the goal. And yeah, of course it was a part of the plan, and in my opinion we should do this more.
Yeah, Erling, sorry, Rio, on a personal note, what do you feel your super strength is?
My super strength, I think after scoring 5 goals, I have to say scoring goals.
What element of that is it? Just a natural instinct, your positioning, your reaction?
Yeah, should I be honest, a lot of goals today I didn't think. I was just doing it on the penalty. I was just trying to get the ball into the back of the net. Same with the third goal. Same with every goal. I didn't think on every single goal. So I think a lot of it is just being quick in the mind and try to do the right thing and try to put it where the keeper is not. Yeah, I think a little bit of it. I think a little bit of it, of course, is quality, but yeah, a lot of it is in the head, I think.
I saw something today in the game, and Aki especially playing the ball forward early, over the top, that space in behind where I think you love to run into. Is that something you want to see more in this team, that you get more opportunities and more goals? You can feel you can dominate teams and players like that?
Yeah, I think we can use this more, of course. When we do this, of course, then people drop more, and there's more space for the smaller guys in between to play. And I think compared to last year now, my personal opinion, we can play a bit different, a different way with a striker in behind. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to bring.
And the final question: you're on the pitch, you've scored 5, you're starting to think, right, double hat trick in the Champions League, and then the manager puts your number up. What? What?
Yeah, I told him when I went off, I would love to score a double hat trick, but what can we do? have to
stay hungry,
exactly.
Keeping you hungry.
Of course.
That's all still to come. Listen, from all of us, congratulations.
Thank
a
you.
special night for the club and for you personally.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, guys.
All the best.
Sorry, guys.
You know what is what's really interesting about that conversation? You know, we all work with Paul Scholes, and sometimes you say, "Paul, what happened in this moment?" And he's like, "Well, I just whacked it and it went in." And it like when he came back from his retirement and he bought some boots from like Sports Direct or somewhere, and then got man of the match with a 90% pass completion rate. It feels like that conversation. It's like it's almost hard for him to break a game down because the game comes to him so naturally.
Yeah, his answers were so simple and true, and you're like, well, if it's that simple, why isn't everyone else doing it? But he obviously has something inside of him, a natural ability that separates him from pretty much everyone, because it's not just a case of kicking it where the goalkeeper isn't. It's a case of understanding where this ball might drop, and for someone so young to have that show or play the game with so much experience is unique.
Yeah, I think for me as well, you can tell that he's young. When he gives these interviews, he's not as hardened as, say, some other people are. He's less guarded. You can see that he just loves the game of football. Like, not everybody will like Man City, but there's something about him which lots of people do like. And, you know, it's something that's like infectious, because we had a good time having him there. But at the end of the day, he's one of many players who we'll see doing this job. But as I say, there's something magical about him, I believe, which just draws people in, because he's, as I say, he's playing the game the way we'd probably all want to if we had the ability.
I think it's that carefree attitude he's got. I think we see so many players come here and are very guarded, and they've had probably bad experiences with the media at different levels in their career. He's so carefree. He just wants to play football. And what I love about his game, is so simple. He's very simplistic. He doesn't overcomplicate things. You see 1 and 2 touch, lay it off, spin behind. Old school traits that never get old. that defenders don't like, and you see the rewards he gets. And I think he's at his best when he doesn't have to think. Like he said, he wasn't thinking about finishing.
Yeah, but he says he's not thinking, right? But like you look at the third goal, it's easy to go, well, he was on the line and the defender kicked the ball off his knee. That's an easy way to get a hat-trick, but it's being there.
That's the
He's
thing.
the
I don't
only
think he's thinking about
person
the
there.
actual finish. I think he's thinking about the outcome of where the ball
Yeah.
is going to fall. And you can see, because he's reacting faster than pretty much every player. Every time there's an opportunity towards the opposition goal, he's the first to move. You see he's on the move here. All of a sudden it goes over his head. Where's this going to end up? Oh, it's going to end up here. He's going to have to clear this. I just need to get in the way.
Yeah, you see the two players marking him. They just keep walking out towards the edge of the box. He's the one running towards the goal line. It's just instinctive. Us three here, Jolien probably more than out of the three of us, would have been moving a little bit more like a striker and attacking on the front foot. But most players on the pitch, when the ball's in and around those areas, are on their heels. He's on his toes, waiting like he's at the start of a race.
Yeah. Look, you work with the under-21s, right? How do you manage and coach natural sort of instinct footballers who aren't overthinking the game?
You just have to give them a simplicity to their game and a finer detail in regards to, well, what do you feel the outcome can be when you receive the ball like this, or when you receive the ball in this area? What are your outcomes and what are your possibilities? And obviously just showing them that these are the variables, and then they have to make the decisions. These players are world class. Obviously, some of them in the 21s, but Erling is world class. He's going to make the right decisions more often than not. You just have to give him the options to decide from.
I like what you said as well about just being mentally quicker than everyone else. We saw it for, the 5-0 goal or for his fourth goal. It was that reaction from him before anybody else that made the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And to talk about what Jolien was saying there, I think you can coach young players to be in the right areas, but for him it feels like it's instinctive.
Yeah.
And that's something that sort of sets him apart, because you can make them better technically. You can teach them about the game. But some people are just different. He finds himself in the right areas again and again and again. And this is a guy that scored so many goals at the age of 22. Like, this isn't a coincidence. There's something to it.
And those aspects we're talking about there, the reactive, instinctive behaviours in and around the penalty box, there's no coach on the planet who's going to teach him that. No coach. Pep Guardiola, we consider one of the best, if not the best, is not going to stand there and go, this is what you need to do in that area. He's bought him. He knows and understands how to move and where to be in those situations. And it's all about timing as well.
Yeah.
And he has all this.
And also, say you could try and teach a young player, be in this spot when this happens, but no situation is ever as the same as the one that came before. So when he senses it, there's a feel element there, which some people just don't have.
So how do you deal with a player like this as the opposition? I mean, we can have a look at his final goal here, goal number 5 for Erling Haaland.